I just talked for 10 minutes thinking this was recording, and it was not. Hello. It's time for another Kinograph update. I missed last month, so I've got a lot to tell you. I haven't been updating, well, video wise, because I've been updating a lot on Instagram. Basically, the long story is going to be a long story. I decided to do a sprint because, dang it, I wanted to meet a deadline. October 1st, let's get this machine done. So I was going to work every day, and I pretty much have. I've been posting all of it on Instagram. Let's show you here. No, that's not Instagram. This is Instagram. And every day has an update, and there's extra pictures or videos behind there that shows you what's going on, the ups, the downs, and boy, are there lots. So let's take a little trip, shall we? Let's have a little slideshow of the emotional roller coaster of creating your own DIY open source film scanner from scratch. I'm talking and trying to buy myself time. All right, so this is like, I don't know, 6 weeks ago. I see this young man and I think how, just how young, how innocent, how full of optimism. That was not going to last, let me tell you. This is me assembling a whole bunch of parts, doing my favorite part of this entire job, I guess you could call it. I just like putting screws and bolts together. It's my favorite part. I don't have to think that much, and the music is loud. So we put a whole bunch of parts together. I'll show you what it looks like. I also found some new off-the-shelf parts that solve the 90-degree to film plane issue with the camera mount, which is a lot of words just to say this works better. This is a 3D printed mount for the fiber optic laser sensor that we're using to detect the perforation holes in the film. And this is it all put together. This is the fiber. You can adjust it back and forth across the horizontal film axis. This tightens it. This is like a spring-loaded wall that pushes the film into this edge so that it's stabilized in that direction. I vastly simplified the arms that hold everything together here, and that allowed me to simplify this part as well. I put everything in magnets, which is great. It definitely would not run magnetic film through here, as someone pointed out. And we'll have to revisit that at some point, but right now it works great. It looks good and feels good. I think it looks great. Anyway, then I wanted to reduce the footprint of our tension roller because, as wonderful as it is, it takes up a lot of space and doesn't leave a lot of room for things that we aspire to, like, oh, there goes the video, such as wet gates or sound clips. Anyway, what you're missing is just that, me tugging on it, and let's see if it'll work now, making numbers. And that proved, it was a proof of concept that worked. It had its flaws. You'd have to recalibrate every time, and everyone would be slightly different than the other one. Like every machine would be different. But someone saw it and thought, hey, I have an idea about how we should do this. That person is Jeff Crowell, and he and I have been in touch mostly over text about how we might do that with a single arm roller with the sensor on the back and a spring, and he fabricated it from scratch himself, and I'm so grateful that he did that for us. He's going to send this to me, 2 of them, and we're going to try them on the machine real soon. This is a sensor you can buy off of eBay, very highly available. He is a machinist, so he milled a lot of this stuff, but we can also easily 3D print it. And here's the spring. He bought so many springs, so many orders from different vendors trying to find the right compression of, scientific words that would be just right for our tension. So thank you for all that effort, Jeff. It's going to pay off, and I can't thank you enough. Maybe next time wear some fingernail polish or something. No, I'm kidding. Mine get worse than that too. Well, maybe not worse. You're milling. I'm just dirty. Motor mounts. That's not the right circuit I meant to show you, but I don't have a picture of the other one. It is a very simple transistor turning the camera on and off with an Arduino, a digital signal. And that allowed me to do some tests with writing to disk. And basically I'm not moving the film, but I have full color information at 2K res, and I did a couple of tests. One, like how quick can I get the shutter to work? and then how many frames per second, like basically does it break at 24 frames a second? And it did not. It did fantastic, not a hiccup. So this is, like I said, 2K and a mid to upper level PC. It's a Ryzen 5 chip straight to an SSD card. Then everything was together, and the angels were clearing their throats, about to sing, and this is what I got instead. I got this flickering disco madness from my lighting setup. I thought it was a loose wire. It wasn't. Well, it was. It was a loose connection. These chips, as high quality as they are, have these impossibly small little pads for mounting in the way that I am mounting them, which is definitely not their recommended use. And I thought it would be easier to fix than it was, and it took a long time. But the reason it took a long time is because I took the opportunity to evaluate the design and said, you know what? If people want control over color and other people want white, just white light, why don't we put them together? Why don't I just figure that out now? And it's going to happen eventually anyway, but it's one of the things that I think might be worth spending time on now. Little did I know how little I knew. From there, I ambitiously set out to create new PCBs. Here's a through-hole version because, hey, that's easier to make. And it's far too big, and it took up too much space inside the sphere, which is the whole point of the sphere, is to have more walls to bounce around, and this took out a bunch of the wall. I also added capacitors and other resistors, components that are super tiny. They're called surface-mounted parts in an effort to keep things as small as possible. And I had never done that before. It turns out there's a learning curve, and I tried my damnedest to make fancy implements to make it easier using the internet and other devices known to man, and boy, did that take a while. But I did get some good results. The problem is that, being the weirdo that I am, I got so into figuring out how to make these little paste masks, or whatever the correct word is for them. I even made this oven that I found a tutorial for. It automates the on and off for you so that it follows the solder paste profile and gets the right temperature for the right amount of time. I went back and forth through all these different things, and the pictures are great. And then I realized, you idiot, you never actually tested these lights with the camera. So I had some in a prearranged circular board, same LEDs that I was planning on using, and realized, of course, when you go to that's what I'm showing you now, a really short shutter speed, sub-microseconds, it flickers. Because they are digitally addressable LEDs, that means they run with a clock, and a clock ticks, which means sometimes it's not moving, and that means no light. And I'm oversimplifying, but the point is, it didn't work. And that was a real bummer. So I had to kind of start over at that point. Thank God for Pablo Miliani. He swooped in, that handsome devil, and made this spreadsheet, made several spreadsheets, as you will see down here, helping me out in my time of need. I got by with a little help from my Pablo. He gave me several different ways of wiring up these LEDs. We talked through them together. He helped me understand how to calculate all of these values of resistance, heat dissipation, all kinds of good stuff. This is so valuable. You could use this for any LED circuit that you're putting together. It's just a calculator. It's wonderful. Basically, if you change this to 12 volts, let's say, I think I'm doing this in the right place. Let's see. Nope, I didn't. Once again, if you change it to 12, everything else changes for you. And little things like that are just built in. The equations are never more than 2 or 3 cells being put together, so it's very easy to follow. I just was so overjoyed by this. Not only that, but then I, being the dummy that I am, didn't quite get all of it. There were some things that I didn't understand or hadn't seen before. And he was very willing to get on a Zoom call with me and walk me through it. And then, as we started the call, said, "Would you like to record this so that other people can watch it later?" Why, yes, Pablo, yes, I would. And I'm so glad that you did, because I think this is a huge resource for people, not just because it's LEDs, but because it models exactly, hold on, I want to show you my face and how excited I am, exactly what Kinograph is all about. Sharing our knowledge so that other people can benefit. Someone else can improve on this if they want to, or do it differently, take it and as a starting point for something brand new, and that could end up in a later version of Kinograph, or your version of Kinograph that does something special and specific and better for you than mine does. And I am so excited. The more we share, the more we all benefit. And Pablo, you shared a lot, and I appreciate it. There are other people who have done the same, and I want to take the time to acknowledge them as well. Let me look at my list. Jeff Conter spent a lot of time with me on the phone. We just had a good time chatting as new strangers becoming friends across the Atlantic. And he also helped me understand his ideas around constant power and how that might solve our tension issues. That's a lot of that is in the forums if you haven't read it already. He's also dropping some documentation now of his very exciting machine that combines 16 and 8, is entirely 3D printed, and folds up into a tiny little shape that you can take anywhere with you. It's going to be amazing, and I think we're all going to want one, and I can't wait to see it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Who else? Newcomer Robin Jones dropping this motor driver that they found, and it looks like a great option for brushless motors if that's a way we end up going. And it has all these C++ libraries built into it. It's got a full microcontroller and 2 motor controllers in it, and so you can monitor things like torque and change your output based on those things. So I thought that was really cool. Someone jumping right in there and offering really useful stuff to everyone else. So thank you for that. Rolf Henkel, just being a really good guide for folks and offering really good ideas in Kinograph forums. And who else? The Sasquatch folks up in Boston. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're building their own 70 millimeter scanner, and they're sharing all of their process with us just because they like us and we like them. It's mutual. We're crushing on Sasquatch. We can't wait to see that thing come to life, and I think it's right around the corner. All right, enough gushing. I learned a lot of stuff. It was interesting. It took a long time. Yeah, it took a long time. So where is this leading? Are we gonna get to the October 1st deadline? Is all this blood, sweat, and tears ending in victory? Hell no. No, it is not. We are not gonna make the October 1st deadline. I would like to say that we would. If you are disappointed or frustrated by this, multiply that by 17,682,242, and that's how I'm feeling about it. But I've started to think about it as like a road trip. You know where you want to go, you have the map, Google tells you how long it's going to take to get there, and you get in the car and someone has to pee. Or you need snacks, or there's construction, or flat tire, or you miss an exit. No, you don't know that this stuff is going to happen. It happens anyway. You're not going to turn around. Oh no, you will not turn around. You're going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. But I can't tell you exactly what minute I'm going to get there. The more Pablos I have, the quicker it might be. So if you want a date, if that helps you sleep at night, I'm really punching for the end of the year, December 31st. That's what I can offer. Do you have any reason to believe me at all? No, you don't, because every time I give you a date, I don't meet that date. But what I can promise is that I will keep up this pace. The sprint has been very good for me. I feel like we're getting good results, and we're just pounding at it. It's also forcing me to really reevaluate what's worth spending time on, and that's healthy. It's also a process. I'm not always good at it, but I'm learning. I'm going to keep up the pace, and I'm going to continue to provide you with updates on Instagram as often as possible so that you can give me feedback as often as possible, and we can catch things before I go too far. You might say after day 4 of PCB mask design, like, hey, buddy, you think you might want to move on and do something else? I may not do anything about it, but feel free to do so. Lastly, oh, I should show you this. Let's pull it up. The ClickUp board has been updated. Oh, I can't ClickUp. Let's watch me type poorly. I could edit this. I probably won't. And what this has on it is open tasks that anybody could kind of jump in and do. Oh, now it's gone black. Now it's back. Oh, I wish this would be faster. Okay, never mind. I will include a link in the description. If you want to jump in and provide some of your skills, it's mapped out by skill set. And if you click into the little cards, it'll give you more context as to what we're trying to do for that part. And you can email me if you want to take on that task. That's really all I have. I'm just really grateful for the community and how awesome everyone is. I can't wait to get this where we need to be. And we're not that far. I mean, I'm going to start producing the PCBs tonight. Once we get those installed in the Sphere, we're going to test the new motor drivers. They have a bunch of data stuff that we can get off of it. It's still a cheap driver, and we can measure things like current, and we can get voltage feedback, and hopefully we can use that to approximate something like Jeff Conter's idea of constant power. I have a contractor working with me on that, and he's wonderful. Mark Lindahl. Oh, I meant to show you his website to plug him because he's a great guy. Unfortunately, these pictures aren't loading. Mark, it's probably my fault. Oh, that's the reader. Anyway, he's done some really awesome stuff. This does not, however, display to you just what a nice guy he is, who listened to what we were trying to do until he understood our balance of cost versus quality, availability of parts and things like that, and really tried to come up with solutions that were going to work for what we're trying to do, which I really appreciated. So yeah, lighting, motors, and then we got it all, right? Because we've got the camera, we've got the sensor, we've got the gate. We're going to have a rotary encoder that will act as a backup so that we can measure how much film has passed by in case we miss a hole because it's damaged or whatever. And we've got the PC. We're gonna have movies. We're gonna make movies out of movies. And it's gonna be great. And it'll hopefully be in 2021. Stick with me. It's a journey with a destination. Stop recording.